Hi crafters, this is Jerry with Crafty Stash. Well, you know how we go trolling around and looking through YouTube and things pop up. I was looking for something and this gal popped up, and her channel is called Paper Bead Rollers. Oops. And there it is right there. I'll put a link to her down below, but I thought paper beads. Haven't done that since I was a kid. Let's see what we could do, because don't we all have like tons of scrap paper, and let's do something different with it instead of just putting it on paper and doing something else with paper. So let's make jewelry out of it. Or if you're doing journals or the small travel journals, this is what I made. Isn't that kind of cute? And I just put this together with some things that I had around. So it's not perfect, but it's an idea. And I'll show you what all that is in just a moment. But, so you have paper, and here is some paper scraps that I have. And I did beads in several different ways. I did them in just this way where, you know, I just cut strips like this, and some were 6 inches long, some were 12 inches long, depends on how big you want the bead. This was a 6-inch piece, and about I don't know, half an inch, something like that. And it doesn't have to be exact. I didn't measure anything. And then if you want to do a bead like this, it's more like a barrel, and that would be what this would be. So you would have to cut it larger at one end down to nothing at the other end. So how I did that, and I'll just show you real quick. I just took my paper. Oops. Here's where my cutting piece is, my cutting edge. Let me pull this up a little bit. Oops, things are falling from everywhere. I'll just give you an idea. I just took the tip of this end and I made it as wide as I wanted to here, and I can adjust that, make it as wide. Let's see, make it as wide as I want or as narrow as I want. So this is I don't know, 9-inch piece, something like that. And so I just cut it from the tippy top. Really, I started from the bottom because it's thicker. When you try to cut a little tiny piece like that, it's hard to do. So I just made it this wide and put the tip up at the other end and just started out like that. So what you want is you want it not to be straight on one end. So the first piece that you make is just a waist piece, just do a small piece, and then from then on just do the opposite. So if you had it narrow at the top before, do it thick at the top this time with the narrow piece here down at the bottom, and just cut it like that. So, and you just go along and do it. Now if you want to measure it, you can measure it. I didn't bother. This is not rocket science. This is just beads from scrap paper. So then what I did is I found, you might want an end, you might not want an end. You know, you have a piece here. If you're going to put it someplace that it's not going to matter, you know, I'm not selling these or anything. It's just for me. You might want to put an end on it. So what I did is I found some of my old, what are these called? They're not brads, they're, you're telling me what it is. I can hear you telling me. Grommet? Is that it? And they come in all different sizes. So I found a tool in my stash, is an old crochet needle that was the proper width for my bead, so that my grommet would fit inside of it. Now if you don't want a grommet inside of it or a finishing bead end or whatever they call them, then don't worry about it. You do whatever you want, however you want it. And so what I did is, now you can just take white paper, you can take the colored paper, you can do however you want. And you're just going to start winding. Make sure it's tight. And what I did, and make sure that it's, you're keeping this in the center now when it starts getting smaller. And what I did is I just took some plain glue and I started putting a little glue in it, only because it just helped me keep it from spinning loose. Because if it gets loose, then your bead is going to get wonky and it won't really be a bead. It'll just be a bunch of paper wadded up. So I'm just doing this slowly and trying to center it. Now they do have tools, and it's kind of like a quilling tool that would just slip in this, and you wouldn't have to do what I'm doing if you're really getting into the beading thing, which I probably won't, but it's fun. And if you're making things that have beads in them and you have extra paper, well, gee, why not? Just go ahead and, you know, make yourself some beads. Now I'm gonna put this, you want to make sure your ends have glue on them. And keep it centered. You really can't see probably how I'm centering this, but you just want to keep it centered. Keep it tight. And it just takes a little time. And again, this is not rocket science for me. I'm not selling these. I'm just doing this for my own. And there you go. Isn't that the cutest thing? Now you got a barrel bead. And there's all types of beads that you can make. Go on to her site and check it out. She's got all sorts of things. Now I just put some glue on the end just to make sure that it's gonna stay. And there you got yourself a cute little bead out of some scrap paper that you had. Now I haven't done these in years and years and years. I remember doing them as kids with newspaper, and you can do that too. I mean, you can take recycled, she has this video where, you know, she just took recycled boxes, so, you know, your throwaway whatever boxes, food boxes, and just cut them in strips and do also. You can do it with magazines. I remember as a kid we did it with magazines and newspapers and things like that. Now what I did also with some of these is I took a skewer, which, where did I put it? An old you know, chopstick would do, which is what I had, but I just can't find it right now. It's probably underneath here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And so I took a skewer and I dipped my bead into my Versamark and just rolled, and then I dipped it in some, this happened to be some green Anna Griffin embossing powder, and I just dipped it in the powder. I didn't even sprinkle it. I just dipped it in the bucket, in the tube, the thing, and then I heated it up, and it makes it, you know, almost well, it makes it all shiny and embossed. That's what it does. And then you can either put the ends on it or not. You know, again, everything that I have will fit these grommet sizes, and some of them I did chunkier embossing powder. Makes this chunky gold. This one, all I did was clear embossing powder because I like the paper. And these are just some extra beads that I had in a little charm. And I don't know if you remember these, but I remember these years ago when cell phones first came out. we used to have those cute little things on the corners that you could put the cell phone charms on. Weren't those adorable? How come they don't have those anymore? Well, I have a ton of these, bags and bags of them, because I was going to do, I did a project actually for VBS one year, and then all of a sudden, no more little holes in your cell phones that you can put the beads on, or the charms. So what's that about? Now, there are these little plastic things that you can actually stick in your audio hole there and use these if that's what you like. I used to have them. I don't know where they are. You can get them anywhere on Amazon, I'm sure, and use it that way. But what I did is I just found a lobster claw, and so now you can use this for your journal or your whatever you want to do. You can make a necklace out of it and do whatever you like. A couple of beads. Now this you can see where I put the grommet on the inside. Just makes it easier. In this one I didn't, so it just doesn't matter. And then a couple of beads and a charm, and you got a charm. Isn't that just cute? So anyway, I thought that was a clever idea. Go check her site out, Paper Bead Rollers with an S at the end, and I will put the link down below. And you know, use up some of your scraps. Let's get rid of some of these things and do some cute stuff with it. You're going to do beads anyway, and you don't have any handy, just make them yourself. I did the blue on one side and the pink on the other. I just dipped it in the Santa Griffin embossing powder as well. And there you go. How cute. I just have bags and bags of these grommets in all different colors that we used to use. I need to get these out and put these on my cards again too, because I have, can I show you what I have? And I think I showed them at one time. I have an entire case full of brads and grommets and I don't even know what. You know, little paperclip roundy round things. I have buttons in here and everything is color coded. So how cute is that? But if I don't use it, what's the point? Some safety pins, some larger whole grommet things. So, you know, if you're not going to use your stuff, what's the point of hanging on to it? Get rid of it and do something else if it doesn't suit you anymore. So, you know, just an idea. Thought I'd put that out there. So, I hope you'll subscribe and like and comment. You guys have been really kind to me so far. I'm hitting another goal, which I'm excited about, and I'll tell you about that after a while. And get out there and craft. All right? Bye. See ya.